Alright everyone, what is up? It's your boy Kane Suzuki here, back again with another new spanking hot what if video. And today, I have something that has probably never been done before. Now, I got this idea from just my own thoughts. I've looked around and seen some what if Deku with Jevils. However, I've seen no videos about Sham. Now y'all might be wondering, who the hell is Sham? What if I was to say the shopkeeper in the tent? You'd probably think, oh, wait, why would anyone want to be that guy? Well, the info coming from this is somewhat canon, somewhat not canon. You see, in a comic series, an AU comic series called Paper Trail, basically, there's 1 week until the night arrives. Each day is an entire chapter. And in the I think it's the third chapter, basically the entire Deltarune gang, and including the characters that are not the main three, like all the side characters, are scrambled all across different realms of the darkness, as we see them basically scavenging out through these realms, as we see it. Long story short, they find a gateway or a fountain out to get out of the darkness, and to basically go out and in of the darkness. Now, these fountains are turned off, but are scattered all across the realm of the darkness. And all across the realm of the darkness. However, when they are basically looking for their friend Sham, and when they're looking for a old shopkeeper who originally came from a mountain, or inside of a mountain, as they arrive to this sort of mountain-like place, as at the bottom of the mountain, at the top of the mountain, they see the fountain that is locked, and at the bottom, they see Sham in a hammock. They go to Sham as basically he begins speaking in confusing tones. Tones that break the fourth wall. Basically, he begins speaking like his old friend Jevil. Long story short, Sham pulls out of nowhere to a giant sort of... what are those things called? Ah, yes. He pulls out a roll of thread and a needle. The needle is connected to the roll of thread, as he then has two options appear right in front of him: sow or reap. As he then begins ripping apart the ground as if it was some sort of fabric, and then turning them into stone. Now, due to Chris's intelligence and leadership skills, Chris is actually able to defeat Sham. However, in the credits or end scenes, or in a sort of deleted scene, I guess you could say, Sham says, "That wasn't even 5% of my strength." So I want to make a what if. So using both the combination of canon knowledge and non-canon knowledge, I want to create a what if. As today I bring forth to you, what if Naruto was Sham? Now, we begin many years ago, during the battle of Hagoromo and Hamura versus their mother. You see, while the two were battling, Little did they know that in another world, two powerful beings of darkness were battling. A jester and a court jester and a court magician, to be exact. Or a master sorcerer, or two basically master sorcerers. As we see one of them wielding a scythe called the Devil's Knife. I have no idea why it's called the Devil's Knife when it's a scythe. Probably just to anger you. As he basically pulls out as the one in the black and purple with the sort of light blue skin, then pulls out his scythe called the Devil's Knife. As the other one then pulls out a dagger. As the other one then pulls out a dagger. As he then says, "Jevil, I do not want to do this." As the one now called, and is now introduced as Jevil, then says, "Why not, Sham? We're so close. Just a little longer and then, just a little longer and the ones behind the screens will come. Then the vessels will arrive, and the prophecies will be fulfilled. Darkness, light, doesn't matter who wins. All that matters is chaos, chaos," he says. As Sham then says, "I hate to do this to you. You are my best friend, but you're going into your understanding and going into things that are not meant for your mind, Jevil. That is why you must stop." As he then summons a spindle or a roll of thread connected to a needle. As he then says, and as the two then look at each other and say, "Let the games begin." As Sham would then dash towards Jevil. He would then summon out his dagger and would charge at Jevil with it. As the dagger would be slicing Jevil all across, and would be slicing, but Jevil, of course, would be expertly dodging. As Sham would then say, "Enough of this." As he would then say, "I choose to reap." And as he would then cry and say, "I choose to reap." As suddenly, the needle in his hand would then be swapped out with the dagger. As suddenly, the ground would begin to be ripped apart, as we can see threads literally being cut off of the ground, as suddenly, right where Jevil's standing, begins to turn into stone, into sort of fabric, as Jevil then says, "So that's how you want to play, huh? Huh, Sham? I thought you were going to go easy on your old buddy. As Sham would then say, "Listen here, Jevil. You're on a raging path, and I have to stop you." As Jevil would then say, "Fine. Then I'll have to use my final attack on you." As he then pulls out his scythe and then teleports. As suddenly thousands of different scythes and basically the symbols of cards, the club, the spade, diamond, and the heart, basically are basically being thrown and exploding all around each other and all around the arena, as then thousands, as hundreds, maybe even thousands of scythes just start falling in random patterns as they're exploding into beams of energy. As Sean would then say, I didn't want to do this, but as he would then say, hey, fine, first order. And as he'd then say, hey, final order. As suddenly, the ground beneath, and as suddenly the entire arena and everything around them, even Jevil's attacks, would basically then look like they're stitched together, as they'd then be ripped apart into pieces of fabric, as suddenly a giant dagger as suddenly a sort of small but extremely fast orange blur of blinding light, an orange flash of blinding light, would be slicing through everything. As Jevil would be trying to dodge this, as he would then say, so that's how it is then, Very well then. Very well then, you win. As Sean would then say, not until you're out. Remember, that's how the game works. As Jevil would then say, fine. As Jevil would then resume his attack, as the two attacks would then clash. As suddenly, the ground beneath the two would basically explode into patterns of different stitches and pieces of fabric and cloth, as white lightning and thousands, maybe even millions of scythes would spawn out of nowhere. As there would then be a ginormous explosion, and then silence. As we see right there, just a gesture card and a button, a gesture card that is ripped apart, as we then see a exploded purple stuffed cat. As he would then say, and as the items would then disappear. As we go to the Naruto world, as we go to Naruto's birth, Naruto would have been born like normal, except something strange. He would have been born with orange eyes, and with orange and black eyes, orange sharp fangs, and purple hair. They would be confused about this, suddenly, as the Nine Tails would attack. Now, instead of basically trying to kill Naruto, the Nine Tails would basically be stronger than Obito in this timeline and would have broken out of his genjutsu quite easily. As the Nine Tails would basically would be in the village, as it would see Naruto. As the Nine Tails would then just see coming from Naruto this aura. Not chakra, but something else. As as suddenly the Ninetales would feel a shiver down its spine, as suddenly purple and orange flames would then as a circle of purple and orange flames would surround the Ninetales. As then this circle of orange and purple flames would swirl around the Ninetales and turn into a tornado of purple and orange flames. As then the tornado would collapse in on itself, leaving just a small nine-tailed orange stuffed fox with black buttons for eyes. As everyone was confused. As everyone would just look at the boy with the orange eyes and the purple hair. As they would have seen that he was crying when this effect happened, as they would think orange eyes, purple hair, orange and purple flames. As they'd think that Naruto had some sort of puppet Kagegenkai, that instead of being able to control and create puppets, could turn people into stuffed, and could turn living creatures into stuffed animals. Or at least Biju. Hold on. I know it sounded like that, but allow me to explain that hint is that voice is actually coming from Jevil, as if you did not know, in a fan game, we would hear Jevil saying those lines just as he was about to fight Sham, and then the whole thing with Jevil being locked up would happen. So sorry, oof. As well, we skipped when Naruto is at the age of 5, as his parents would have tried to train Naruto in how to use chakra. As Naruto would try to use chakra, but would always summon, but instead of using chakra, he would summon 4 objects. Spades, not 4 objects at first, but when he began, he would summon just spades made of energy. As the spades would then explode into a circle of even more spades. As when the spades hit something, that item would have been basically hit and sliced apart, and then the spades would dissipate. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I just came back from eating my dinner. So, where was I? I think the age of 4. At the age of 4, Naruto was difficult. Or, not exactly difficult, more or such respected. However, when they tried to train him to use chakra, well, only spades would appear. And then sometimes other random shapes. As they called Naruto, as they would eventually call Naruto the wild card. As you never know what you're gonna get with him. You can sometimes get spades that explode into more spades, hearts that revolve around in circles, diamonds that just fire higher from his fingertips and bounce off of walls and are like daggers, or clubs that are like bombs. No one ever knew what they would get with Naruto. As well, one day, Naruto would be walking around as he would see a girl. Now, this girl would have pink hair. As she would have white and black eyes that were not a dojutsu. She had one mysterious ability, however, for it was a ability that only she had. They called it Dolahan. A Dolahan is a creature that can take off its head without dying. And, well, now with her, she could do many other things. As, basically, Naruto would meet with this girl, and would see this girl being bullied, as she would then, as they would say, "Freak, you killed your whole family. What kind of freak or monster are you?" As suddenly, out of nowhere, we see a orange potion inside of a glass bottle being thrown out at the bullies. As suddenly the potion would turn into all types of ghosts and ghouls that would then chase down the bullies. As we see the girl absolutely confused, as she would just say, "Huh? Who's there?" As Naruto would then basically jump over a fence and would say, "Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, 'tis I, Naruto, the amazing, the wonderful, the magnificent Naruto." As he would then say, "And you, and who may you be?" As she would then say, "I'm Mew. I'm Mew Mew." As I do not know exactly what type of name to give her at this time, but you guys tell me in the comments if you don't like the name Mew Mew, okay? Just tell me a different name if you don't like the name Mew Mew, and yeah. Also, one thing about Mad Mew Mew in this, she is not she's not a body controlled by the one ghost that controlled the dummy, or the mad dummy ghost, okay? So, she has her own personality and and she controls her own actions, okay? Okay. As Naruto would then say, "Well, Mew Mew, what was all that about?" As she would then say, "They called me a freak and a monster, and a demon for killing my family." As he'd then say, "Was it on accident?" As she'd then say, "Yeah." As he'd then say, "Well, may you please show me how you did it?" As Mew Mew would then say, "Okay." As she would then walk in front of a forest, as suddenly what appeared to be 3 circles would appear here in front of the tree, as in the middle circle it appeared to be one whole. The circle was one whole white circle, and the other 2 were empty rings. As she would then basically wave her hands in opposite directions of each other, as suddenly the white circle would split in half. On the right side, there would be one half of the white circle, and on the right ring, there would be another half of the circle. And the middle would then be empty, as we see the tree then just split in half. As she would then say, "See? I'm a monster." As he'd then say, "No, you aren't. That's actually very cool. In fact, you might even be a wonderful shinobi with that." As he would then say, "I know you can. I know you can be a good shinobi with that. After all, with that skill, if you can learn how to do it, you could even someday learn how to put things back together. So you could be like in a alleyway, or like a giant rock pass, or in a forest. And then you just combine the two sides together and crush the enemies." As she'd then say, "Wow, thank you, Naruto." As he'd then say, "No problem." As Naruto would then basically, he'd look like this, except imagine a human with orange eyes and purple hair. As he would then basically would jump up and would say, now presto, amazo, now presto amazo." As suddenly he would poof in a cloud of orange and purple smoke. As he would then be gone. As she would then say, Naruto, eh? He's just so nice. And what's that name the villagers give him? And what's that name he has? Wild card, right? The infamous wild card saved me from those bullies. And even gave me some ideas on how to use my abilities. As she would then basically hop and skip away gleefully over to a house. As she would then see skeletons that were split in, as we then see skeletons that are just that appear to be human beings that are split in half, and even in fourths. As she would then say, one day, you hear that, guys? A boy's going to teach me how to put things back together and use my powers in other ways. And he isn't trying to use me, unlike you." As he would then look at the corpses, as she would then say, "I warned you. Don't test me. Don't force me to do those things. Don't try to control me. I'm not a weapon." And what did you do? You had me blow my lid, and I ended up splitting you all in half. And to be honest, I don't feel one single regret about it. As suddenly a cat staff would be summoned in her hand, as she would begin levitating. As she would say, "Well, if anyone tries to be mean to me again, they'll end up with like you guys. And, well, tomorrow tomorrow we'll have a new boy in class. I hope it's that Naruto dude, and that Naruto boy. And maybe, if I like him, we'll be able to have kids together. And we'll be able to be a thing. And I'll be able to keep him all to myself." Of course. All to myself. She would say as we go to the Uchiha compound. as we see a boy with with half black hair and half purple hair, and black eyes with yellow dots in them. As he would then say, "Father, father!" As we see Fugaku say, "Yes, Sasuke?" As he then say, "Guess what? Guess what?" As Fugaku would then say, "What is it?" As he would then secretly say in his mind, "Why does he always have to repeat himself? I understand it's a speech deformity, but seriously." As Sasuke would then say, "Look what I can do! Look what I can do!" As he would then hold out his hand, as suddenly four scythes would appear, as they would begin swirling around, as he'd then say, "Pretty cool, huh? Huh?" As Fugaku would say, "Yes, indeed, Sasuke." Yes, indeed. As we skip to the next day in class, we skip to the first day of the academy, as we see Naruto basically walk in the class looking like this, except as a human, as he basically just jumps and hops around in the class, as he then says, "Hello, my classmates. I am the absolutely amazing, intelligent, mind-blowing, almighty Naruto the Wonderful, and Naruto the Magnificent. For I am one of the greatest magicians in the entire world. Maybe the greatest in the whole universe. Ha 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 ha." As he would then say, "Behold!" Hold on. As he'd then say, "Watch! Behold and be amazed." As he'd then hold out his hand, and then something new would happen. As orange flames would spawn out of his hands, as he would then say, "Ha ha ha, just as calculated, something random and unexpected. Behold my amazing feats, and enjoy it." As he would then pull out 3 bottles, one with a purple liquid in it, another with yellow liquid in it, and another with green liquid in it. As he then throw the 3 bottles upward, as one would then explode into a blue cloud, which would turn into a dragon, and into a yellow cloud, which would turn into a dragon, as another would turn into a purple cloud that would turn into an octopus, and the last would turn into a yellow cloud that would turn into a hammer. As he would then say, "Ha ha ha, behold my wondrous feats." As Naruto would then hold out 3 spare bottles, as suddenly the 3 gas apparitions would then turn back into liquid form and go into bottles. As he would then say, "Ha ha ha, behold, not only have I mastered the power of wielding my absolutely random attacks, and of wielding my absolutely random skills, but now I have learned the power of alchemy." As he then say, "Watch and be amazed." As he would then throw a bottle with a white liquid, as it would then burst into ice. As he'd then throw another bottle with a red liquid in it, as it would then turn into lightning. As he'd then hold out 2 more bottles, as they'd be back in the liquid form. As he would say, "Soon I will be the greatest of the greats." And soon I'll be one of the greatest magicians in the world. As we see Mew Mew basically watching Naruto, as she would then say, "He's in my class," and as she'd then think, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, he's in my class, he's in my class, he's in my class." Okay, play cool, play cool, play cool. As she would be shaking and squirming in her seat with excitement, as we see Sasuke walk behind Naruto, and she then say, "Hello everyone, I'm Sasuke, and I'm 1,000 times better. Hello, I'm Sasuke, I'm thousands of times better than all of you. As Fugaku would then walk out behind him, as he would then say, "Sorry about Sasuke, he has a tiny, speech deformity." As he would then say, "Wow. So, what can he do?" As he then say, show them your excellent skill, son." As he then say, "Absolutely, yes. As he would then say, "Chaos. As he would then summon 4 spinning scythes out of nowhere. As then Naruto would then say, "Huh? That doesn't look too safe to me." As he would then pull out a bottle with a black liquid in it. Hold on. As Naruto would pull out a black bottle, and he would say, and it would then, as it would have a label saying, "For dangerous emergencies only." And he'd then say, presto protecto. As he would then smash the black bottle on the ground, as suddenly black strings would then come out of nowhere and out of the middle of these spinning scythes, as they would then wrap around the scythes and pull them together. As Naruto would then say, "Oh dear, that's not alright." As he'd then say, "And that was my first attempt at the black potion. Darn." As he'd then say, "I was expecting to use that in at least 2 weeks. Oh well." As Fugaku would then look at Naruto and say, "What the? What'd you just do? You ruined my son's chance to shine." As he would then say, "Sorry, but your son wasn't exactly being safe." As he would then say, "For instance, those scythes could have cut any one of the children in here and give them serious life-threatening injuries." As he'd then say, "With me, I haven't even released any physical attacks yet. I've only used apparitions, amazements, party tricks." As he'd then say, however, those were weapons. Save those at least until you're Genin. Don't use those at least until you're a Genin." As Iruka would then say, "I'm afraid he's right. I'm afraid, Mr. Uchiha, that he's right. While you are Sasuke's dad and you are the leader of the Uchiha clan, and your son showing off is not more important than the safety of an entire classroom of children." As he then says, so Sasuke can use his attacks when he's at the age of, and when he's a Genin. As Fugaku would then say, "Drat." As he would then storm off. As he would basically would rush over to Minato's office to file a complaint. As he then say, "Your son stopped my son from showing off." As Minato would then say, "Is there a problem, Fugaku?" And what is the problem with that, Fugaku? As Fugaku would then say, "Hey, your son, my son just summoned awesome metal scythes out of nowhere in the middle of his classroom. And your son pulls out a bottle and then stops the scythes from spinning because he and the teacher say it's unsafe." As Minato would then say, "Fugaku, you're having an outburst for the reason that your son could have hurt innocent children." As he then say, "Please get out of my office or I will detain you. Or I'll have my Anbu detain you." As he then say, Fine. As he would then storm off. Hold on. As Fugaku would then say, "Fine. But mark my words, Minato. My son will show off to this entire village soon. And it won't be when he's a genin." As he would then slam the door and storm away to the Uchiha compound. As we see, as we go back to Naruto, who is in his class, by using his amazing aberration tricks, he has captured the interests of many of the kids in his classroom. As we see Sasuke then say, "Hey you, Naruto, right? What? Wanna fight?" As he would then summon a scythe in hand. As he then say, Wanna fight? As Naruto would then say, "Fine." As he would then summon a dagger in his hand. As he would then say, "I'll fight you. But only no, he wouldn't summon a dagger, he would summon an orange flame in his hand, as he'd said, fine. I'll only fight you for a couple of minutes, and then I have to get back to work. After all, I'm working on recreating that potion that I used on your attack. So please, I do not want to do anything a bit too dangerous." As Iruka and Naruto would then say, "Hey sensei, can we train against you? Can we spar?" As Iruka would then say, "Fine." As two would then dash towards each other. As, of course, they're out on the playground, all the girls are saying, "Sasuke," and as mostly the girls are saying, "Sasuke," and most of all the guys and some of the girls are saying, "Naruto." As we see Sasuke basically spawn in a scythe, and spawn in his scythe as it begins swinging around. As Naruto then says, "Ha ha! So, you're going to use that dangerous metal weapon against me? Fine, then." As he'd then say, "Stitched pattern." As suddenly the ground would then be lifted right from underneath Sasuke, as it would then appear to be made out of stitched fabric, as it would then wrap around Sasuke and prevent him from, and it would basically mobilize him. Hold on. As I explained in this video, you're halfway right. Now, back to this. As Sasuke would then say, "What the? What? What the? As Naruto would then say, "Behold! I do not like using devastating attacks, so I only use attacks that will pacify my enemies, and that will contain my enemies. However, if it comes to it, as he would then say, order, order! As he would then say, order, order! As suddenly the ground beneath, and as suddenly the cloth and fabric that Sasuke was wrapped up in would then begin glowing from all this, as all the stitching of it would then begin glowing orange, as we then see what appears to be blades of orange and of orange flame are appearing right at all the edges of the fabric and are slowly getting closer and closer and closer, as everyone would be terrified of what was going to happen. But, well, Mew Mew would basically just be thinking, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. As Iruka would then say, Naruto, that's enough, you win. As Naruto would then say, oh, alright. As suddenly the blades would disappear, as the fabric would then untangle Sasuke, as the fabric would then lay down back on the ground and would turn into stone, and would turn back into the ground. As he'd then say, I hope you all have enjoyed my amazing feats, and I hope to see you all later. As Naruto would then say, now it's time to go, and so I give to you one last feat for the day. As it appeared that Naruto held nothing in his hand, as he would then begin spinning around his hand like there was something in it. As we then see a sort of dark blue / black blade with a black knife with a orange blade. As he's spinning it and he throws it up in the sky. As everyone is looking at the blade, as it then falls right where Naruto was standing. As we see Naruto is gone, as the blade then turns into a bolt of orange lightning and of purple lightning and zooms up into the sky. As everyone then just says, ooh, ooh, ah. As we go back to Naruto, who basically just lands in the Uzumaki Namikaze compound. As he falls right, and as we see a orange beam of lightning crashing down, as we see Naruto basically hop out off of the ground, as he then says, ha ha ha, today was wonderful, wonderful! As he would then say, hey, so many adoring fans. Well, those girls are interested over that Sasuke fellow who only has dangerous attacks. Well, one day I'll win them all over with my amazing shows. As he then say, yes, 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 ha 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 ha. As Naruto would basically hop into his room and onto his bed. As Naruto would be dreaming, as he would see something. A battle. As Naruto would see a man holding a blade that looked like Naruto's, with the same hilt, except except the orange part. And except the blade was not a small orange dagger, it was a orange katana. As he then saw this man summon a roll of string, and then a roll of string, and then a needle. As he would then see him begin to rip the ground apart, and turn his foes into, and try to turn the guy he was fighting against into stone. As Naruto would then see another man, and would then see another person. As Naruto would he would be in a sort of third-person view. He would be seeing this whole fight go down, as he would then see a man with a giant scythe, and a black and purple jester cap, with black and purple and green and yellow clothing, and with light blue skin and red and black and yellow eyes. As he would then hear two words, and as he'd then hear only two words coming from the others, and coming from each, as he would hear the one with the scythe say, "Chaos, chaos!" and "Chaos, chaos!" as he'd then hear the others say, "Order, order!" As there was an explosion, and Naruto would awaken. As he would not know what the hell just happened, but he would see that there was a roll or wheel of string in his hand with a small needle. As he would be breathing heavily, and he'd be breathing heavily and would faint. And then would pass out. As that's where I'm ending this part off. Hope y'all enjoyed part 1 of What If Naruto Was Sham from Deltarune. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you want me to change Mew Mew's name. And what did you think of the video? You want part 2 of this? If you want a part 2 of this, give this video 10 likes. This might be my first or maybe second to last video for a day, and for a couple of days, or about maybe a day and a half, because I'm moving out of Ohio. Tomorrow I am moving to Florida. Yeah. So it'll be a 17-hour long car drive. I'll be leaving at 3 in American time. I don't know where you're from, but if you're from America and you're in the Middle East, then you probably know what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll be gone at 3, and yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah. Goodbye, and skadoosh.